We're live. Excellent. Oh, we're already having things go wrong, but that's fine. It's not liking that I control both the my account and the AskDLF Periscope accounts. It's not liking that we're trying to stream to both at one time. But that's okay. We'll just leave it on the AskDLF account for now. So yeah, we're live. I have a guest. This is a surprise show, but I have a guest. And why don't you just introduce yourself to our wonderful audience?
What's up, guys? I'm Z2 Fantasy on Twitter, and I do a lot of graphic design. So if something y'all want to hit me up in the DMs, just ask. I did the header for AskDLF.
Yeah. Here I put. Okay, yeah. I put his at in all of the chats where we're live. So if you're watching this on Periscope on the DL Football channel, which I might add, there's going to be a lot of announcements today. We're going to be doing a lot of promotional stuff. The DL Football account now, it used to be run by Eric Dickens. It still will be. Eric Dickens will still contribute, but 2 new people will be helping him. So Eric Flynn, someone I've worked with, my first editor, actually. He's going to be doing the promotional tweets. And then Corey Spala, I think is how you pronounce that, Spala. He's going to be doing like engagement tweets because, we felt, I don't know, that there needed to be more memes maybe. But that's what they're going to be doing. So you're going to be having 3 people from that DL Football account. So you might see something with this show or other shows on the YouTube channel kind of going in with what they're doing. So just keep an eye out for that. We have new social media people. So that's going to be great. And then, if you're watching this on the DLF Ask account, that account's completely new. I made that account. And, we're going to eventually get this so it can Periscope to both mine and that at the same time, if that's possible. If it's not, we'll just deal with that. But either way, we'll use that to collect questions. We're going to use that to collect questions for the show going forward. So I have some old questions from the old mailbag that we're going to look at on this show. But in the future, if you want your question read on the Tuesday show, the only way we will read it is if you put it in one of the threads on the @DLF. I'll put this in the chat too, @DLF_ask. So if you put, follow that account, and if you put your question in the thread where we say questions for the week, we will make an effort to try to actually get to those. We usually don't get to them in advance. We will make an effort going forward, but we're going to limit it by only taking questions from there. So before we were taking questions from just too many places. We had so many, so we didn't get to them. Now we're going to take only from there. So if you want your question, put it in there. We'll try to get to maybe 5 to 10 on our 2.5 hour-ish show, 5 to 10 in advance questions. So, the shorter your question is, the more likely we are to read it. If it's shorter, we're more likely to read it. More concise, we're more likely to read it. And then, I know this is going on and on and on, but there's more. I will be doing start-sit shows on this channel right here on YouTube. PJ says, what's up? What's good with me? I love you, PJ. PJ is one of our more loyal listeners. And then Noah also says, what's good? Welcome. So we'll be doing start sit. We will be doing that. So I will mostly do start sit alone. I might have some guests. I'm going to try to do it on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, is tough sometimes. So, if it can't be Sunday morning, I'll probably substitute it with a Thursday show if I know that I'm going to be out Sunday morning that week. Do it before the Thursday night game and do it in that spot instead. But I will try to do every Sunday morning or as close to that as possible. Last thing, and then we will get to the questions that I have or any questions from any of the chats. If you have a question, put it in the chat. We will answer it. The last thing I'm going to say is I just recently updated my Patreon, which I'm going to put a link to that in the chat. I had decided that I'm going to put my weekly start sit rankings on there. So it's all going to be there. So yeah, if you want, sign up for that. If not, it's all good. The show's not going anywhere. So I think that's everything. And yeah, so welcome. Tell us. I did my promotion, which was very long, and the people are already tired of it. Tell us more about your work in the fantasy industry.
So I work with Real Deal Fantasy, LQ over there.
Let's put him up.
I do a lot of their graphics. I also do a lot of the graphics at Triple Play Fantasy. And
you're on the show there, right? You do a show with Zach, right?
Every Monday, the Tripwire Pod. We're going to be going over waivers once the season kicks in. We just got done doing sleepers, and then we had a mailbag last week. I think this week's show, we're going to talk a little bit about week 1 waivers, like guys that you may want to pick up before they might go off week 1. And then at the end of that show, we're also going to look at prop bets for the Thursday night game for this upcoming week. And
I love it.
You can usually probably see me on After Dark with the Rum Boys because I also work with them as well. And then just started the internship at the Sports Me app, which you need to go download. That's me.
Yeah. So tell me more about that. Because I haven't really. Yeah, I haven't really. I hear about it. That's something. It's one of those things. I hear about that all the time, but I feel like I never actually, I don't really know much about it.
It's a lot. I call it TikTok for the sports world because the interface is kind of like TikTok, but you start debates. So if you have a question, so like in season, you can have a start sit question, and then people can join the battle per se, and you're awarded points and stuff, and you collect your points, and then in the near future or in the future, there'll be like giveaways and stuff that you can use your points for. But it's also just to interact, be more of a kind of like short face-to-face instead of being somewhere for 1 or 2 hours where you can just pop in, say you have like a hot take or breaking news just happened, you want to debate it with somebody. Like one good one that we had not too long ago was debating Rookie of the Year since Mac Jones got named the starter in New England, whether it be Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. And there's about 15 to 20 people that have just given their takes and everything. So that's basically
the new Clubhouse.
I mean, Clubhouse was a lot different. Clubhouse was just sitting there and talking. You can't really see anybody. Now,
I didn't really like Clubhouse.
I was on Clubhouse a few times. I didn't hate it, but I mean, the way it worked was a little weird to me. The way the app worked for Clubhouse.
Yeah. We talked about this a lot. I said they needed to improve their back end quite a bit because it's kind of messy. But anyway, we have a question in the chat, so we will get to it. It's not my favorite question. I'm not going to lie. It's my least favorite topic to talk about. My least favorite.
I know you don't like this topic.
No, this topic I don't like. From PJ, I've seen a lot of people picking up Watson. Did something change, or are people just throwing darts? Did anything change? Nothing, right?
By what I'm aware, the last thing I saw is the Texans are willing to have him on the 53 man, but are prepared to have him inactive for every game. So
yeah, so that's not anything changing. So
I think what he's mentioning here is all the Miami talks that were heating up recently. I mean, I don't think anything's.
The grand jury is meeting. Yeah. The grand jury is meeting right now. How could you trade for someone who could be facing criminal charges soon? That seems crazy to me, right? Nobody's going to do that. That's all. I think that's all being put out by the Texans. The Texans, they're putting out all of those rumors to try to drum up the price a little bit. It makes sense for them to do that, to leak that information, but it's bullshit. I mean, nobody's trading for Watson. This could play out later, but nobody's trading for someone when the grand jury is meeting, which is funny because the grand jury is supposed to be secret, but that's difficult to do in a high profile case like this. So I understand how that kind of got out. But with that said, no, right? I mean, he's not going to play this year.
No. I took a flyer on him in Scott Fishbowl. This was before a lot of.
That was a while ago, though. Yeah, that was so much time. That was 2 months ago.
I took Watson and then Tyrod, so I had both of them. But I was just like, if there's a slim chance, and
That was
anything.
just so long ago, right? I mean, at that point, that was 2 months ago. Anything could have happened, but now 2 months have passed and nothing's changed. So it seems that, now I have a lot more certainty about what's going to happen because we're so close to it actually happening. Let's see. We have, okay. What's up, guys? Oh, okay. Week one. I got to tell you, I have not gotten to any week one anything. Mooney, Myers, Moore. There's a lot of Moores. That's going to be something. When we
I'm assuming DJ Moore.
Well, if it's DJ Moore, then it's easily DJ Moore. It wouldn't be a question if it were DJ Moore. It's probably not DJ Moore.
Elijah Moore? Rondale Moore?
Maybe it could be Elijah or Rondale. This is going to be something. When we do start sit shows, we need to have Rondale. It's Rondale. We're going to need at least an initial, first and last names or an initial, because just want to make sure that we don't give the wrong information. But yeah, I just made that announcement about doing my weekly start sit rankings today. The full ones will be available on Patreon, but what I'm going to do on the show is I'm going to read you a sample of my rankings over that hour. So you can tune in and get a taste of that for free on this channel right here. Obviously I have not done that yet. I'm going to usually probably have that mostly finalized by like Tuesday or Wednesday. But yeah, no, I don't have week one rankings. Just off the top of my head, if we look at the week one, let's look at the week one schedule. Why don't we look at it? So we had Mooney. So Mooney, the Bears with Dalton. I don't like that. Playing against the Rams. I don't know about that one. That one I don't really like. Myers against the Dolphins. And
Myers would be my favorite here.
Yeah, there's just no way that I'm going to put Rondale Moore out there as a rookie, just having no idea. Plays the Titans. A good matchup, but you really going to feel comfortable just starting Rondale Moore week one? Probably not, right? That seems like a risk. So
yeah, I think I prefer Mooney, even though it's against the Rams. He's not going to get shadowed because we know
Robinson will be. I think I would. It's close between Mooney and Myers. Moore is a distant third. I think I'd go with Myers. Pretty confident he's the wide receiver one there.
It says pick two.
Oh, pick two? Oh, then it's easy. Then it's Mooney and Myers.
Yeah.
Then it's an easy question. You just leave off Moore. So it actually makes it easier. That we don't have to pick between Mooney and Myers. Because then we can't possibly start Rondale Moore in week one. Just too big of a risk. He can give you 0. I mean, Rondale Moore.
I think I'd question him a lot more if it was Elijah Moore.
Because Jamison Crowder is going to be out.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder is going to be out, so Elijah Moore is going to have a possibility. And they're playing, I believe, the Panthers, and the Panthers not good. So, that could be. It is Zach Wilson's first game, but that could be something. But I think we went in around enough circles on that. I promise I will do better on the specific questions when I have my rankings in front of me to answer the question. Okay, Noah is back with how to draft today. I'm a little new to fantasy. Okay, welcome. That's fine. I try to make this show, all of my shows. I'm not the most complicated analyst. I don't know where you fall on that that kind of range of things, but I'm not. Yeah, I know how to use Excel, barely.
I use Excel for my rankings too.
Yeah, but I barely.
Do you like color code?
It took Addison 20 minutes to teach me how to use VLOOKUP, whatever that is. VLOOKUP, that thing. Whatever. But yeah, no, I'm kind of on the low tech side. I've learned after about now, this is my 7th month-ish anniversary of being at DLF. I've learned how to use most of their tools. They're not that hard, but it took me 7 months to learn how to use most of them. So yeah, I do try to keep it very basic and very simple. So let's see, 12-man league. We have Hurts, Eckler, Swift, Hill has got to be Tyreek, Godwin, Hawk, Gaskin, Colts, D, and Bass. I forget about the kicker and defense. What am I going to say about those? I have no idea. We don't have those in Dynasty. So what do you think? How does this team sound to you?
I really enjoy this team if it's full PPR.
Let's say it is.
Excuse me. The only kind of issue I have with it is I don't enjoy the Lions offense that much. So having Swift and Hawk on a week-to-week basis
Could be a
on the
problem.
same team could be a problem for me because I don't think they're going to score that many points. I mean, I think they're going to be behind a lot, so you'll see a lot of catches going to both of them, but that's combating what points you get from a week-to-week basis. And Swift hasn't been the healthiest, but having Gaskin as your running back 3 in your flex, I'm a Gaskin fan.
It seems difficult that he drafted this team because it must have been Eckler and Hill. It looks like he had a late pick, right? A later pick.
Yeah.
And he picked Eckler maybe at the 110 or so, 111, and then went back with Hill in the second. And then at the 3-4 turn-ish was probably Swift and Godwin. Swift at the end of the third is fine. I don't have any issue with Swift there. Godwin there too is fine. And then Hawk, he then probably got at the 5-6 turn. That's not bad. And then he still managed to get Gaskin with it.
Yeah.
So, and Hurts later as a flyer is fine. I mean, I'm sure there's more to this team on the bench, but if the first 6 picks are how I said, I like it. Eckler is a fine RB1, assuming it's PPR. If it's not, then if it's not PPR, I'm a little lower on this team because if it's a half or a standard, I don't want Eckler and I don't want Swift at all. So that would hopefully it's PPR. Let's see. Zach 10-man PPR.
That was his team.
No, that was Noah's team. I don't know, Zach. What pick 9 of what? Oh, is he saying he's pick 9 and he wants us to tell him what to do?
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, so it's unfortunate. Well, actually, no, it's not unfortunate. I have 8 running backs this year that are like and maybe you can tell me how you feel about that, and maybe you disagree. I have 8 running backs that are kind of my top. So McCaffrey, Cook, Henry, Kamara, Saquon, Chubb, Zeke, and Jonathan Taylor. And then my next after that, I would go to Travis Kelce. So one of those players will be there at the 9th pick.
Kelce would be my favorite if he falls. I would take him at like 6, 7.
6 or 7. Well, also remember, that's a good point. In a 10-team league, everyone's going to have good running backs and wide receivers. Everybody will. But not good tight ends. Not everyone's going to have a good tight end because there's what, like 4? 3? Really? Maybe 5. Maybe 6 if you're generous. It's 6 at most.
Yeah.
There's going to be 4 people who are struggling with disaster. I mean, if you have Travis Kelce and they have Logan Thomas, it's going to be a big advantage. And you can get running back and wide receiver value later. So, I mean, who would you pick over Kelce in a 10-teamer? McCaffrey, probably.
The first 3 running backs that I say should be off the board first are probably the only 3 people.
So who's that? McCaffrey, Cook,
and Kamara
and PPR.
And then I would probably take Kelce as high as 4. But
yeah, I'm fine with that. I couldn't obviously never take him over McCaffrey.
The only other argument I would have is with Zeke at 4 because I feel like
Zeke at 4.
Yeah,
I'm not obviously.
In a full PPR, I think Henry goes down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm obviously not as into Zeke, given my rankings. I actually wrote an article about McCaffrey, about how McCaffrey is so great that people have forgotten how great he is. I'll put the link in the chat if anyone's interested. But yeah, I do write. I mostly actually write articles, not do shows on here. I know most people know me from the shows, but I do many more articles than I do shows. I've written, I think, about 100 articles for DLF since I joined up in February. So way more articles than shows. But there's my McCaffrey article if anyone is interested. I have no idea. What does this mean? Do you know what this is?
I know what NFTs are, but
I know what that is, but like, what's the state?
People ask me on Twitter all the time if I like do NFTs because they see my graphics and stuff that I post, and I'm like, I don't even know how to like get in like that far into making it an NFT.
How do you do your graphics? Because you do so many of them.
I do everything from my phone.
Really?
I use 2 apps on my phone and just
And
work
also
with it.
tell the people you have a very talented brother as well.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the people a little bit about him?
My brother on Twitter is at Zentech_Kobe, and me and him have worked like back and forth a lot on creating graphics. I taught him a lot of the stuff he knows, but he's also taught me stuff. And I wanted him to get in this space because the fantasy community is such a nice space and everything. And for about 2 months, yeah, more or less.
If you find the nice people,
yeah. For about 2 months, I just kept pushing his stuff.
Yeah, his stuff is good.
He's growing. He's growing. I want to get his. I've been working on his camera presence. He's not a talker as much. He'll talk about football, but once he gets in front of the camera, it kind of.
I'll have to get him on here sometime then.
Yeah.
Well, we will have to do that because this is going to be something I've been trying to do it. I don't mind going on alone. I don't usually prefer it. For start sit, I suspect I'm going to be doing it a lot alone. Just because I'm literally just reading off my ranks. It's not too hard, but I've been trying to get some new faces in front of you guys. I know we had Ryan when Cal was in the hurricane this week. We knew that show was going to be a little bit crazy. So we had Ryan kind of come in to like help us. Did a really good job. So that was just one of my friends that I, now Mr. Z2 is joining us. And I have a long list. As you know, the list is very long of people that I want to get on here. So we will continue to do that. Let's see. You do. He has a Cold Fusion. He says he has Diggs, Hill, and Allen. That sounds good. I like that. I mean, Diggs and Hill are what, top 3? I mean, I like that. Hopefully you didn't have to give up too much otherwise to get there. We have to put up this comment. Yes, I endorse it. Addison is the man. He is. Addison is kind of for YouTube what I am for writing. Like, imagine that someone who that's what he does. Like, he's mostly doing videos, just like I mostly do articles. So he does like a video every day or something. I think the Lions O-line got a lot better. Did it? Really?
The only piece I remember in Madden is Sewell.
Yeah, and how would Sewell look in the preseason?
Not very good.
It's terrible. The Chase, the Sewell Chase debate. I mean, that might have been one thing, but Sewell didn't look good.
So.
No, not good. Sewell looked really bad. So I don't know. We'll see. If Sewell sucks, then the Lions O-line did not get better. That would be a no on that. So he better start playing like he was supposed to, because he's not done that. Gaskin late 5th sounds amazing to me. I agree. Right? I mean,
I enjoy it. Yeah.
Seems like a value. I did a mock recently and I took him in the early 5th. So late.
I put a tweet out on Twitter that I think he's nearing a high end running back too if he gets a full workload.
Yeah,
and I got a lot of slack on it.
Did you? Were people mean?
I mean, they weren't mean. They were just like wanting me to explain how, because they think it's a running back by committee with Malcolm Brown and Salvin Ahmed. And I'm not scared of Malcolm Brown per se, because in the preseason we saw Miami keep him in as a goal line back, that being Gaskin.
Yeah. And
I think he's going to get a bunch of catches for a PPR. If it's a standard league, Gaskin's not a high end running back too, but for PPR, I think he can get up to not Eckler numbers, but close.
Yeah. I mean, I have him RB21 in redraft, so I'm not there. But, there are just other guys I like more.
Yeah. I mean, it's difference of opinion.
Yeah. I pretty much think I have him ranked spot on with consensus, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think RB21 is about right. Not right, but like an average. That's average.
I was buying a lot of him when his price fell, because Sleeper came out with the thing where he's going to be in a 3-back committee. And then we saw him in the next preseason game score a touchdown in the air and on the ground.
I think he is going to be in a 3-back committee, but that's fine.
But I think he's going to be the lead back in that.
Well, he will be a lead back in the committee. I just that's why I have him RB21.
Yeah.
If I believe that he was going to be a workhorse, I'd have him RB14, but I don't. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I nailed it. PPR had 10th pick. Oh, so I actually had it exactly had 10th pick. Oh, so I actually had exactly right. We went Eckler at the 110 probably, and then Hill at the 203. Oh, well, okay. I'll take it. I don't do a lot of redraft, but I get enough redraft questions that I feel like I still have enough there. Trying to know his team. Yes. Bench is okay. So this is Noah's bench. Fuller, Dillon, Beasley, Rager, Higbee, Fields, Justin Fields, and Gage. This bench. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me, this bench. I don't like this bench at all. Actually.
Russell Gage is the only one that I like.
Dillon, I'm fine with. I'm
Dillon too.
I'm fine with someone like that. Fuller too. Fuller actually is someone I'm interested.
I think he could have used taking a flyer on another running back instead of like a Rager or Beasley.
Well, I just think that Beasley is a waste of time. I mean, Beasley is how many games is he going to miss this year? With he didn't get the vaccine, so anytime he's a close contact, he's going to miss the game. So that.
How many teams did he say this was again?
12.
12. I'd search out and see if James Watt or somebody like that's out there.
Well, he's not out there, but like,
probably not.
You know who might be out there though? Bryan Edwards. Bryan Edwards might be out there. And I think, and now Cal's not here to interrupt me, so the case will go on. Bryan Edwards might be out there. And if Bryan Edwards is out there, I would eliminate Beasley. I don't have time for Beasley. If you're starting Beasley, you've already lost. So we don't need Beasley. I'd eliminate Beasley from this team and put Bryan Edwards on it. That's what I would do, because Bryan Edwards, you're going to know week one. It's going to be very obvious. Am I right? Is Bryan Edwards going to become the alpha receiver that I think he's going to? That's caused me to raise him in my rankings, caused me to write an entire article about it, caused me to yell over Cal every week when he's like, he only had 15 receptions as a rookie. He didn't get playing time. I always just yell over that. Because I believe in the talent, and he was injured last year. When he was healthy, he started week one. Not many third-round rookies do that. So I would add, go look on your waivers for Bryan Edwards. I just did this today on a Patreon team. He had drafted the team already, and I was coming in. That's why my Patreon is. I was coming in and helping him manage it, and then Bryan Edwards was on waivers, and I believe we eliminated Aguilar, very similar to Beasley, someone I just don't want. So Bryan Edwards could be on your redraft waivers, and now would be the time, because after week one, it's going to cost half of your fab budget, and you want to save the fab budget for running backs. You want to save it for running backs because you're going to need those running backs every week. A new one is going to get hurt. So you know how this is, right? I mean, every week a running back is hurt. Every week it's going to be a new one. So save your fab on that and get Bryan Edwards now while he doesn't cost anything. Okay. Oh, so this is Zach's team where he was pick 9.
Okay. He said 10-man, right?
10-man, yeah. So, I mean, I assume this is the order in which it was picked. Adams at 109, I don't like, just given what I said before. Gibson that seems like a reach to me. That's Gibson at 12th overall. Seems kind of hefty. I mean, I have Gibson at running back 12. So
yeah, maybe. That means Kelsey definitely went in the first round.
He must have.
And if he's the only person, this is 10 teams, so he took a receiver, so 8 other running backs. So he drafted him maybe at running back 9.
Yeah, Gibson would not have been who I would have chosen. I suspect that at least Najee Harris was still there, but
like Najee.
Jonathan Taylor might have still been there. And
Eckler, maybe.
Eckler. Well, I'd much rather have Eckler than Gibson or Aaron Jones. Yeah, people are still sour on Aaron Jones. I would have considered. So Gibson probably would not have been what I would do. Kittle is fine. I don't mind it. 29th overall is okay. Mahomes, I just never am doing that.
DJ Moore, Mike Davis, Thielen.
Javonte is a great pick. Javonte and Corey Davis. Javonte, Corey Davis, and Waddle are. I like Corey Davis and Waddle more than Antonio Brown. So to me, Corey Davis and Waddle are great values. Ertz was just a waste. If you pick Kittle, there's no point in picking. You don't need a backup tight end.
There's a lot better ones than Ertz.
Yeah, so forget that's not a good
Russell
pick.
Gage in the last round is my favorite pick too. I enjoy Russell Gage in Atlanta.
I just feel like Russell Gage was not necessary. Well, you have Adams, Moore, Thielen, Antonio Brown, Davis, Davis is safe, and Waddle, the 7th receiver in Gage. What about running back?
Yeah.
Running back, it's only Gibson, Davis, Javonte, and McKissick. That to me just doesn't work. That's
I think he should have took another running back where he took Ertz.
Yeah, or take another running back instead of Gage. Still could. I would suggest who could be out there? Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson, his ADP is still low. They haven't corrected it yet. Ramondre Stevenson could still be out there. So I would drop Gage or Ertz. Well, Ertz for sure. Ertz was wasted pick. So I would drop Ertz for if Ramondre Stevenson is still out there. Also potentially Sony Michel. That's another one where the ADP has not updated. Potentially Sony Michel could still be out there. So, but yeah, we need to get some more running back depth here, right? Because this is Gibson.
You can't ever have enough running backs.
Yeah, no, you can't have enough. And having only 4, with one of them being McKissick, is not gonna work. So we need to fix that. Let's see. Oh, Adam. Adam's one of my longest time supporters. So I always love seeing him in here. Welcome. Let's see. Cold Fusion. Appreciate you guys. Longtime DLF subscriber. Yes, I am also a long time. I've been a DLF subscriber way longer than I started writing there in February, but I started subscribing there in July of 2018. So I am over 3 years being a subscriber of DLF. And I've been a very satisfied customer. And now a satisfied writer and video person, forum, all that stuff. So yeah, and really no complaints. They're great. We're great. Okay. Oh, interesting. Perfect. This is perfect. We were talking about this earlier. Mark has a question. 12-team 1 QB defending champ favored to repeat was offered Chase for Godwin. Crazy to decline. What do you think?
I'm assuming this is Dynasty, right?
Yeah. This has got to be Dynasty.
Yeah. I'm just after watching Chase in the preseason, I just don't know.
You saw my tweet, right?
If it was today, I didn't. I haven't been on Twitter much.
Oh, it was today. It was today. It was saying that if you don't buy Jamar Chase before week 1, you may regret it, because one big play and no one's gonna remember the preseason struggles. No one's gonna care. Just one play. He only needs one play. And he delivered 20 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think I would. Since it's Dynasty, I think I would take it just because Chase was a top 5 pick. They're both in 3 wide receiver rooms right now.
People are sleeping on Godwin, I think, a little bit.
I do enjoy Godwin, and
I have Godwin.
We don't know where he's going to play next year, too.
I have Godwin significantly above his ADP. To me, I think Godwin is, perfectly capable of being a wide receiver 1 on a team, and he will be. He will be. They're not going to be able to keep him. He deserves. No. I think he deserves a contract larger than significantly larger than Corey Davis's $337 that he got. I mean, I think Godwin deserves like $480, something in the Galladay range or even more. 4 years, 80.
He has a good season this year too.
Godwin's a far better player than Galladay. Yes. So far better. I mean, they're not comparable to me. So, I mean, Godwin's going to get big money, whether it's from, and if he gets like 4 years, 80 million from the Bucks, they're going to find a way to use him. They have to. You don't pay someone 20 million a year and then don't use them. That's crazy. So I love Godwin, but I still take Chase. I still take Chase, but I get it. I get it. It's, if you want to take Terry McLaurin or Chris Godwin over Chase, they're still pretty young. I get it with those two. I get it. If if you want to take those, I get it. But I would still take Chase. I think just Chase's value is going to be higher. PJ says, drop Rager and Beasley for Gallman and I assume this is Tyson Williams, Ravens running back.
Mm-hmm.
In Dynasty? No?
He's talking about that team that we were just looking at.
Oh, Gallman, yes. Gallman,
yes.
Tyson Williams.
I still haven't wrapped my head around it.
Yeah, I'm good waiting on that one. I just think, what's the upside with Tyson Williams? You think there's no chance he's going to dethrone Gus Edwards. They just gave Gus Edwards a 2-year extension. That's not going to happen.
Pass catcher.
But what I mean by that is there's what are the chances that Tyson Williams dethrones Gus Edwards as the lead back? I would say 0. Like a healthy Gus Edwards is going to remain the starter. I think there's 0 chance that Tyson Williams is going to overtake him. It could be a compliment, but he's not going to overtake him. Whereas I think it's a legitimate chance that a healthy Mike Davis is benched for Wayne Gallman. What's the difference in talent between Mike Davis and Wayne Gallman? Minimal, right? I mean, minimal difference. I think Davis is a hair better, but not much. So Gallman for sure. Gallman I'm very interested in. Tyson Williams less so, but I mean, I guess. Tyson Williams would not be my second favorite running back stash, though. There are others, but Gallman is a good nomination.
I agree. I picked up Gallman everywhere after he.
Yeah, I would have to.
Yeah,
I would have to. Thank you, PJ. Thank you, PJ. Come on to the Tuesday show and say that while Cal's here. We need you. We need support. He's against Bryan Edwards. He's against him. I don't understand. He's against him. He's been against him the whole time. But I've registered my opposition, and the people have heard it. They've heard what they need to hear. Gibson has top 5 upside. Yeah, I guess barely.
Not for me. I don't trust Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic's not one to dump the ball off like the quarterbacks he had last year. And
that's about that for me.
Yeah, I don't think Gibson's going to register enough catches. He's going to have to score a lot of touchdowns to be top 5.
I just don't think he's going to be top 5. It's possible. I mean, if I rank him at 12, 5 has to be like in the range of his outcomes, basically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have him at 12. But I just think it's unlikely. I think you're going to find, my guess is if Gibson remains healthy, that he's going to be a low-end RB1. I don't think he's going to be top 5. But that doesn't mean I don't like him.
I think I have Gibson at 10 and right above Najee at 11.
Yeah, I have Najee above Gibson. So I just think Najee's way better. Najee's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Well, Najee's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Najee's a workhorse. Gibson is not. And I don't think ever will be, personally. I just don't see why I would think that he would be. He's never been one. He's never been one. Najee is built to be a workhorse. He is exactly what you want in a workhorse. He has everything. Everything. He has everything you want on the ground, everything you want in the passing game. And what are the Steelers going to do? Give the ball to Anthony McFailure, who is now on IR. They're going to give it to Benny Snell, who's going to take 20 minutes to get to the line of scrimmage. I don't have time for 20 minutes. Or how about Kalen Mirage? I forgot he was there. So we're not going to give carries to those people. So, Najee Harris, I think, could have 300 carries this year. 300 carries. More. He could have more because there's 17 games. I'm very in on Najee Harris. I have been for quite a period of time.
My thing is, and a lot of people give me slack for it because
we'll see.
I compare him to CEH's situation last year, how he rose. I know I'm not comparing talent. I'm not comparing like teams are on. But if I see Najee go at the 1-2 turn, I don't want to pay that price because I feel like I'm going to be pissed off at the end of the season if he doesn't have that great of a season like a CEH did last season.
Well, luckily, I have great news for you. I have great news. So I don't know if you're talking about redraft or dynasty, but
redraft.
Ryan McDowell just posted the new dynasty DLF ADP, the first round. He posted it. And Najee Harris is in 1 QB. He's the 109, the 9th player off the board. So that's where he is. So,
in dynasty, I'm in on Najee in dynasty.
Yeah.
Because it's a workhorse running back in dynasty.
Man, this ADP is crazy. AJ Brown's not in the first round, but Devontae Adams is. Man, people are not gonna like that in a year. You're gonna cry if you took Devontae Adams over AJ Brown in Dynasty. That's just a terrible move. But whatever. People can do it, whatever, with their teams that they want. But don't do that. If you're listening to this show, don't do that. Also, if you're listening to this show, now that I'm looking at this ADP, please do not take Dalvin Cook at the 103 in Dynasty. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. That is a really bad idea. So that one. Hey, we're not going to do that. Don't do that. But if you're listening to this show, you know that I would never allow that. So don't do that. Let people who are not listening to this show do that, and then you don't do that. All right, 10-team league from Noah, PPR 4th pick. Oh, this is his other team. Okay, let's run through this pretty quick because these team questions. For the record, these questions on the Tuesday show, we probably would just skate by because we cannot possibly take the time to answer these on the main show because we get so many questions. But for now, let's take a quick look. So I assume he started with Kamara, then probably went to Ridley and Jefferson at the 2-3, and then went back to Swift, Hawkinson, and then probably Judy. I like Ridley and Jefferson a lot.
He has Henderson on his bench.
Yeah, this team is good.
Yeah. Who is LSJ? Why am I not?
LSJ? Yeah. Why am I not?
Why am I not thinking of any player? L'Jarius Sneed came to my mind.
No. That's not it. Laviska Shenault Jr.
Oh, okay. I've never heard him being called.
I've never seen that abbreviation. But
that makes me like the team even better.
Then I like the team a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. All right, here we have a dynasty question from Lamar Gaming. All right, a dynasty. It's a dynasty channel, so we should answer a dynasty question. Okay, Bateman in a 23-second or Amari Cooper in dynasty. What do you think? Well, we'll give you the floor first on this one.
How old's Cooper? 20, about to turn 26.
Cooper. I missed it by one day on the last show. I have this thing of having an encyclopedic knowledge of ages. I said he was June 18th, 1994, but he's June 17th. I was so pissed. I almost got it right on the nose. My best one was Cooper Kupp, June 15th, 1993. I got that one right on the money. But anyway, it's 27.
It's 27. Okay, I'd probably take Bateman in the pick.
Oh, would you?
Unless I'm competing.
Rare.
Cooper.
This is rare. I'm going to be on the side of the old guy. Yeah. I would take Cooper. I just think that Cooper's going to give you more than Bateman ever will.
Yeah. It's hard with Bateman because I don't like his landing spot.
I don't like it at all. I just think you're better off with. What would you rather? What do you think? Let's put it this way. If I told you that you had 3 borderline wide receiver 1 seasons from Cooper, and that's it, or the rest of Rashad Bateman's career, which of those 2 things sounds better?
Cooper.
And that's kind of how I see it. And that's just assuming that Cooper retires at 30.
The Baltimore pass volume is never going to be great with Lamar back there.
I just kind of think that Rashad Bateman's never going to give you what Amari Cooper gives you this year. Never. I think that's his absolute ceiling if everything goes right. And I don't expect him to hit it. Not starting his career with an injury. So I need more than this. If I have Amari Cooper, this is just not going to cut it. I need more. How about Elijah Moore? If it were Elijah Moore in a 23-second, I would consider it more than I would with Bateman. But I've always had Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore ahead of Bateman. I've had them ahead of Bateman the whole time.
Yeah, me too. Before the injury, before the landing spot, I had Bateman ahead of him.
No, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had Rondale Moore ahead of Bateman before that, but that was because Rondale Moore's a great prospect. Elijah Moore.
I didn't trust Rondale's injury history.
That is a concern. It definitely is.
Put concerns.
I just feel like if you're selling Amari Cooper, this can't be the best you can do. This is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. You have to be able to do better.
Would you sell Amari Cooper straight across for Cooper Kupp?
Of course not. course not. Amari Cooper is younger and going to give me more this year, and he's with Dak. No.
Yeah.
No.
You were talking about Cooper Cup earlier with his birthday.
Oh, I lied. Oh, that's just because that's the one where I nailed the age right on the money. But no, of course not. Okay, PJ, buy Chase ASAP, buy the dip. He's going to be a monster. I mean, yes, you know that I agree with that. I tweeted about it. It got some likes. People nobody really pushed back on me. People, I think, are a little bit overreactionary to this kind of thing. For a prospect of Chase's level, a wide receiver, running back, be reactionary. But for a receiver, I like to have a little more patience. I'm not overreacting to a preseason game where he wasn't doing well. If I had faded Justin Jefferson last year because he wasn't playing well in camp, that would have gone very poorly for me. That would have not been very good. So with a prospect on Chase's level, Chase is the best wide receiver prospect coming out since what? Sammy Watkins? Julio Jones?
Yeah.
AJ Green? So. Like that level. I mean, there hasn't been, he's a better prospect than Lamb.
Yeah.
Better prospect than anyone in the 2019 or 2018 drafts. Those drafts were light on good prospects. The 2017 draft was a bunch of garbage. 2016, same thing. So you have to go all the way back to really Amari Cooper for like a really strong prospect on this level as a prospect. So I'm just not going to be running away from someone who was picked 5th in the draft, who has a pristine prospect profile, who's athletic. And I'm just not going to be doing that. I can't. If Chase is the one who burns me, fine. I got burnt on the best bet I could have possibly made. I'm willing to live with that. You just can't. All the signs say he's going to succeed. Okay. Will, dynasty question. Rebuilding. Sold Stafford for 22 first, 23 first, and 23 third, all late. Fair value. 10-team superflex. What do you think?
I don't hate it since he's rebuilding. He got two first and a third, but it's kind of it's weird to me because in Superflex, I don't think I'd sell. I think I'd need just a little bit more for Stafford, especially the situation he's in now in LA.
Yeah, I love the situation, but for me, the 10-team Superflex makes me feel like
there's quarterbacks
kind of kills the quarterback value because there's just no scarcity there. In a 10-team Superflex, everyone can have 3. A middling quarterback is like, and Stafford is middling. He's not a star. So if I'm rebuilding, it's enough. It's not really what I want. I want to do better, but in a 10-team Superflex, I'll accept it. I'll accept it over. If the choice is this or not making a trade, I'll make this trade.
Yeah.
I'd like to do better, but I'll make the trade if I have to.
I'd like to see if I could get those picks. Like the 3 picks are fine, but I'd like to see if I could move up from late to mid.
Yeah, maybe there's just no way to do that.
Yeah. How does he already know they're all late picks?
I don't know how he knows that. But PJ says Golladay is off my board. I guess Golladay did return to a full practice though, so he's a full go.
I own 0% of Golladay.
Yeah, I wasn't on Golladay, and everything has been. We want to talk about bad. Everything out of the Giants has been bad. All I know about the Giants is how many laps everyone was running. I know a lot about laps, and I know a lot about push-ups. And I hear a lot about Sterling Shepard being a fantasy option. If that's where we're going, we have a problem.
I like Sterling Shepard.
Right, but that's a problem. If all we're hearing about is Sterling Shepard being a star, that's not good. I don't like that. Why did Golladay get $75 million then?
That is true.
Disaster. So I think the Giants are going to have new management. There's going to be a new general manager to replace Dave Gettleman, and a coach. A coach is not good. Joe Judge, not good. I don't want to hear more about push-ups. That's not going to work. So he's going to have to go. And then Daniel Jones, if he continues to turn the ball over, we can't turn the ball over and continue to be a quarterback these days. That turns you into Drew Lock. That's what happens. You become Drew Lock, and then you lose your job. So they're going to have some issues there. All right. Redraft, Penny or Gallman?
Gallman.
Got to be Gallman, right?
I don't hate Penny. I don't like hate the situation Penny's in, but he's got to wait for a Carson injury to get viable touches.
Yeah, Gallman could just take the
And
job,
Gallman
right?
can I think Gallman, if not take the job, have a split.
It's got to be Gallman.
You're going to sit on both for at least like 3 or 4 weeks.
You might not sit on Gallman for very long. Penny, you could be sitting on forever.
I think you might sit on Gallman for just a little bit because he got added so late.
But Davis is so bad. He's not bad, but he's not good. I mean, remember, this is the same Mike Davis who the Chicago Bears signed to complement David Montgomery, played him in a couple of games, and then cut him. This is the same person. So he wasn't very good then. What changed? It's suddenly at 27 years old, he became good? I don't think so. So Gallman looked good last year. He had juice when the Giants were using him. So I don't know. I got to go with Gallman in redraft here. Oh, I've said Anthony McFailure a lot, PJ. I mean, he is McFailure. You know, last season, the playoffs. We had the playoffs. So the playoffs, that's when the money is on the line. You put your best players in the game. Anthony McFailure inactive for that game. They thought that it was better to have Jalen Samuels in the lineup. So that's bad. I mean, you use a 4th round pick, and then by the playoffs, on a running back by the playoffs, you don't even want to have him active for the playoff game. Instead, Jalen Samuels, who sucks at everything, was active for the game. I mean, that just tells me that pick was just completely lit on fire. So, whoops. I think they needed to not do that. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of teams here. This is a whole team. So let's try to see about, you know, kind of cutting this down to like a little thing. I mean, it has decent quarterbacks here. It has other things, but I don't know. This is something on my Patreon. Like, these are Patreon questions. Like, on my Patreon, I'll sit here and talk for you for however long it takes to fix your team. Like, I'll talk it over with you. I put the link in the chat earlier. I will fix whatever you need. I'll fix it. But yeah, on a show, like, it's hard to go through a whole team. It's just too many players. So let's move on. Tyler saved me from Adam. Tyler saved me from overreacting on Jefferson and passing on him in my draft. It's not like I was very high on Jefferson, but yeah, I think I didn't overreact to that too much. So yeah,
Jefferson was pretty last year.
I'm glad I saved you. Okay, good. So yeah, just to give an idea, the big team questions, that's something it's hard to answer on the show. So simpler questions tend to be easier to answer. Trade questions are the best. That's what we love to do on these kind of shows. So Mark, 12 team Superflex startup, drafted almost entirely year 1 and year 2 players and have multiple firsts in the next 2 years. Okay, good. So we have already gotten off that first sentence. I already like that. We've drafted young players and we've added multiple firsts over the next year. So what do you think about that kind of strategy? Is that usually how you do it? Or how do you usually build?
I'm different. I agree with the first and second year players that I'm drafting, but I usually say I know a little bit about the class. You know, some of the guys that come out and some surprise and don't come out and stuff like that. So looking at the 22 class, I'm not very high on it. I'm not high on Sam Howell or Spencer Rattler or whatever. So I don't have any 22 firsts in most of my dynasty.
You know what? What is going to happen? This happens every year. When we get to the rookie draft, are people going to want the 22 firsts? This is down class, but when we get to the rookie draft, the rookie draft is today. Okay.
Yeah.
April 20, whatever it is, May 3rd. Rookie draft starting today. Well, I don't have any firsts in this draft. I want one now. I want it now. I'm willing to pay for it because I want to draft a player now. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. This is how it is. That happens every year. Every year. Seconds, maybe not, but everyone wants first round picks. It's going to be, there's going to be desire for first round picks. So that's why I like to do it. Even if I'm down on the class just like you, but Trust me, you know that once the draft starts, there's gonna be like a mad rush for everyone wanting those picks, no matter what. Because people have FOMO. They're fear of missing out on those rookies. They get the rookie fever. They have their FOMO, and they're gonna be like, oh, Ja'Marr Chase only finished as the wide receiver 19 as a rookie. Oh, I just don't want that player. Let me just trade him away for something that a mystery. You know, I don't want the player that already did well in the NFL. We don't want him. So that this is why we get the first, and then we have that leverage later on. That's usually
like startups around that round 2 to 3 round. If I can throw a first in there to make that trade go through to get another pick in one of those rounds to get us more.
You know what I love to do? I do the same move in every Patreon startup I do. I always recommend the same move. I almost always trade out of the first round and get a second and a future first. I do that in almost every Patreon startup, or at least I try. So yeah, I feel differently. I like getting those first. So I love what Mark is saying. Mark is saying, I love sentence 1. We started good with sentence 1. Now let's move on to sentence 2. Should I trade Sermon, Mitchell, and Stevenson for Dobbins and 2 waiver wire receiver? So he's essentially 2 roster spots. So Sermon, Mitchell, and Stevenson for Dobbins. What do you think?
I imagine that's Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. I hate San Francisco's backfield every year. And I don't trust Bill Belichick, but Stevenson looks damn good. Oh, this one's tough.
It's tough.
Because after Dobbins' ACL injury, I mean, at least it's an ACL. We know the timetable and how it affects our run.
Don't forget there was damage to the LCL too, so it's going to be longer. It's going to be more time. And you saw that there was Cortland Sutton had multiple injuries, multiple ligaments, and it took a long time. And, he just now, finally, it was the whole thing. He wasn't 100%, but he needed the football part. And that seemed to take a very long time. And now, finally, like 3 months after it was supposed to be, he's finally gotten the football part. So, a delay of health could be a problem. So that's something that's going to be an issue.
I think I might take the package. They're all young.
Well, I think he's saying he has the package.
Oh.
And that's,
I think I might keep the package.
I understand what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
He is tanking. Productive struggle, as Ryan McDowell, coined it. But really, to put it in blunt terms, he's tanking. And what he wants to do is get rid of these players who are going to score points for a player who's not, and who's going to have more value when he's healthy next year. That's what he's doing. That's the point of this trade. So I get it. It really comes down to me to how much you believe in Stevenson. Like, if you think Stevenson is going to be something, this is not a good trade. But if you don't, then it probably is. Mitchell,
if you don't think Stevenson's going to be anything, it's basically Sermon for Dobbins.
More or less. Mitchell's not worth that much.
Yeah, so
I don't know. How shallow is this league? Are we talking about? Because we're talking about 20 roster spots. I'll take Dobbins and whatever the 2 other players are, because they're gonna be decent. But if this is like 50 roster spots, I don't care who you're picking up. Then I would be more inclined to stick with the package. Like, the fewer roster spots, this trade is very close. So the fewer roster spots there are, the more likely I am to go with Dobbins. Whereas if there's many roster spots, I'm more likely to keep the package. So it's very close. I'm fine doing this deal. Also, if this deal makes your team absolutely horrible and lets you tank to the 101, I'm fine with it. Dobbins is enough value, and he's going to sit in your IR slot. So actually, it would be 3 waiver wire pickups, not 2, because you can put Dobbins on IR.
Yep.
Yeah. So Adam gave his opinion on this one. He also talked about the LCL damage, which I referred to, and the Gus extension, which I didn't mention, but we mentioned earlier when we were talking about Gus and Tyson Williams. Gus's extension is for 2 years after this one, so it's quite a period. Yeah, I thought the trade was close. So fair enough.
So did I.
A redraft question. Okay. Oh, here, we'll wrap this up. 28 roster spots. That's A little shallow, but not that shallow. That doesn't really help me.
It's like right in the middle.
Yeah. I'll go with Dobbins.
Yeah, I'd go with Dobbins too. I feel like you can find
It's close.
decent
Very
guys on the
close.
wire.
I'll go with Dobbins. Okay, back to a redraft question. And I feel like we're going to get redraft questions on the Dynasty show. And you know what? That's fine because we are going to answer the questions the people tuning into the show. If you want a redraft question, we will answer a redraft question because that's what you asked. So we'll answer any question. If it's the one thing I will say, and I'll say this again when I do the show with Cal, is what we're not going to do is we're not going to answer start sit on that show. I'm not going to answer start sit on that show because we're not going to be ready. We're not going to be ready at Tuesday at 8 to do start sit. So we'll hold those off for a different show, but we will answer redraft on that show. Because the show's mostly going to be waivers. That's why we have it on Tuesday night. We're going to do a lot of waivers. So in this case, Bernard and Philip Lindsay for Gallman, I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely not going to do that. I think Philip Lindsay's a starter in Houston. That's what I think.
I'd drop Bernard for Gallman.
I would drop Bernard, but if this feels like it's an and for some reason. I don't know why.
I think it's an or.
Oh, if it's an or, then I'd drop Bernard. I don't want Bernard at all in a half PPR. It's totally worthless. But yeah,
if it's an or, I'm dropping Bernard. But if it's an and, why are you dropping two players for?
Yeah, I know. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear. Those players are Lindsay, then Gallman, then Bernard. Bernard is way back there. But I'd rather have Lindsay over Gallman if that's a choice. I just think Lindsay's a starter. I think it's clear they want him to be the starter. But, we come out week 1 and Mark Ingram
is the 1-2 back.
Yeah. But what if we could come out week 1 and Mark Ingram is the starter? It's not going to be David Johnson. That I know. David Johnson is not the starter. I know that.
Johnson's going to be on the field on third downs.
Yeah, but I know that Johnson's not the starter.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think it's Lindsay, but if it were Ingram, I wouldn't be completely surprised. But I'll go with Lindsay for now.
I think Ingram's had the better camp than Lindsay.
But Ingram is so washed. Ingram was so bad last year. He's totally washed. I believe it when I see it. But I feel like it's going to be Lindsay. The beat reporters were leaning Lindsay.
Yeah.
So but it wasn't strong. The only thing it's not Johnson. Ingram is ahead of Johnson. Johnson is dead. I just cut him. In shallow dynasty leagues, I'm fine just cutting David Johnson. Redraft Rondo Moore, Gallman, half PPR. It's got to be Gallman, right?
Yeah.
In redraft, I just feel like
Rondo sit and redraft until he
take a long time. It could take a long time. Whereas Gallman, do you think it's possible that they give Davis the first few carries, he looks horrible. They put Gallman in as to spell him, and Gallman busts off like a big run, and then they're like, oh no, that's it. The Mike Davis experiment is over. Is that a legitimate outcome to you? Because I think it is.
I think it might be the way they just let Ollison go after a great camp as well to have Gallman on the team.
Yeah, that's true. They did let Ollison go. He had a decent camp.
And then I don't know. Arthur Smith seems like he wants a big running back, so he might give Mike Davis a little bit of a longer leash than.
But what if Davis is bad? If Davis comes out and he's terrible,
Davis has to run himself out of the job.
I just think Rondale Moore. I like picking him in redraft, but I'd much rather have Gallman. Yeah. Gallman could give you. What if Davis gets injured week 1?
Especially if this being a 10 team. There's wide receivers galore.
There's going to be a zillion wide receivers. Yeah, there's so many options and only half PPR too.
Yeah, so it's Gallman for me.
Definitely Gallman. Yeah, definitely Gallman for sure. Okay, so the 20 roster spots. What if Davis is bad? Is Gallman good? I don't know. Both are bad. Davis was fine last year, but so was Gallman. Gallman was fine.
Gallman looked really good to me last year without Barkley there. He looked like he was running for a job.
Yeah, he looked good. I was surprised.
I hated to see him go to San Francisco.
I don't know why he signed there. I don't know. Oh boy. From Adam, is it worth trading Jefferson for Lamb and an early 22 second Superflex 10 team. Man,
No,
I don't want to.
I'll say no.
I don't want to.
Because I don't like the 22 class. That second's going to mean something to somebody, but not me.
I love CeeDee Lamb, though.
I love CeeDee Lamb.
I
But
love
I think
CeeDee Lamb.
Thielen's not going to play much longer. Like, how much longer could Thielen play for?
Yeah, but they have issues with Kirk Cousins there.
Yeah.
And with someone like Cousins, there's no guarantee that the replacement is better. The replacement could be worse.
Yeah, and Lamb, well, I say that about Jefferson where he could be the sole number one, but Lamb could possibly be if they decide to cut loose.
If I told you that CeeDee Lamb this season had 95 receptions for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns, would you believe it? Is that possible?
I don't think the 1,400 is possible. Where
Why not?
I would say
why is it not possible?
Because how many yards is Dak going to throw for?
Well, no, that's a good question. Actually, let's review. Let's review. So, in 2019, Dak 16 games, 4,902 yards. Last year, 5 games, he got injured in the end of one of them. 1,856 yards. So he was pacing for about 6,000.
Yeah.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb. Let's look at, let's say that CeeDee Lamb becomes the wide receiver 1, right? He becomes the wide receiver 1, and he takes over what Amari Cooper was doing. So let's say he does that, right? Let's say he does that. So Amari Cooper played in the 4 full games of Dak. 4 full games of Dak. This was Amari last year. He had 37 receptions for 401 yards and a touchdown. Over the year, that would pace for, in just 16 games, 148 receptions, 1,604 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That would have made him the wide receiver 1. So it's possible.
Yeah, it is.
It's very possible. I only said 95 receptions.
Yeah.
So if CeeDee Lamb becomes the wide receiver 1 on this team, 95, 1,410, considering that Dak is due for, and this is crazy because he was the quarterback 1 by a mile last year. Dak is due for positive touchdown regression. The fact that he threw for 4,900 and only had 30 touchdowns, and then he had 1,856 and only 9 passing touchdowns on that, he's due for heavy positive touchdown regression. What if Dak threw for 45 touchdowns instead of 30 on the 4,900? I just don't think are remembering that that's a possibility.
So you're taking this trade. So you're taking this trade.
I would have to. An early second is going to be a good player. I would have to take it. I love Justin Jefferson. He's my dynasty wide receiver 1, but the players are close. The players are close, and I want that extra piece.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, I'm confident. Mm-hmm. I'm confident that CeeDee Lamb is going to be a thing. Very confident.
I like the Cowboys' offense.
I know. Oh, CeeDee Lamb. It's, remember last year, Justin Jefferson kind of got off to a slow start, right? CeeDee Lamb's first 2 games, he had, he was great. He was great. I mean, he came right out with 5 receptions for 59, and then the next week, 6 for 106. That was his first 2 games in the NFL. Justin Jefferson didn't even play in his first game, did nothing. I just think that we'd be talking about CeeDee Lamb how we're talking about Justin Jefferson now if Dak hadn't gotten hurt. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm all in on CeeDee Lamb. He's a player these are 2 of the players I'm the most excited for moving forward. I mean, if I'm going to start a dynasty team, these are 2 of the players I want to build it around These two, AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. Those are the ones I want as my cornerstone. But if you decline this trade and keep Justin Jefferson, okay. I mean, sorry, you got to keep someone who had 1,400 yards as a rookie. What a loss, right? What a problem. I don't know. I
think with the pick being in there and he's rebuilding, and Lamb's not that far off from Jefferson in a dynasty standpoint.
You can tell I love these two players, though. That's really what's going on here. I don't want to give up Jefferson, but I want Lamb. So that's really what's going on. It's rare that I feel this way about players, but these are two of them. These are two of the players I like the most, along with Patrick Mahomes, of course. Superflex Patrick Mahomes. Forget everything I said about these two. And then, if you want to see me go like, oh, I want that player on my team, Superflex Patrick Mahomes is like a whole other level. That's like my obsession. It's having Patrick Mahomes in Superflex. Mike Davis gave up carries to a wide receiver. Well, they had no other running back on the roster. What did you want them to do? Give Mike Davis every single carry? I think it's fine. I'm not worried about that. My issue with Mike Davis is that he's not very good. Not that Curtis Samuel got carries. That was a good way to use Curtis Samuel. They actually did something functional with their offense. Right? I mean,
who would be your number one handcuff since we're talking about Carolina?
AJ Dillon count?
Yeah, I would count AJ Dillon.
I don't know if AJ Dillon's really a handcuff.
Yeah.
Because Kareem Hunt does not count.
Kareem Hunt does not count. But with his ADP, there's no way he's a handcuff.
Well, I think that AJ Dillon has a legitimate role. That's the thing. Like, I think AJ Dillon has a legitimate role every week. I think
some Aaron Jones people are going to be pissed off when they say Dillon in the red zone.
Well, I like it, but I think that Aaron Jones should be used in an efficiency type role.
Yeah.
That he reminds me more of Alvin Kamara than anything else. And they finally found the right complement for him. Not someone who is used in the passing game like Jamal Williams. That was a complement of necessity because that's what they had. What they need is a complement who's a bruiser to allow Aaron Jones to excel in the passing game. That's what they need. They actually found AJ Dillon is actually the right complement for Aaron Jones. I like the AJ Dillon pick because he would be a good complement. Jamal Williams is just a worse version of Aaron Jones, right? I mean, Jamal Williams does everything that Aaron Jones does minus like 40%.
Yeah.
Only thing Jamal Williams is better at is pass blocking, which he's very good at, by the way. But Aaron Jones is just 40% plus Jamal Williams, whereas AJ Dillon is a completely different player from Aaron Jones. So I think he has a role. I don't think he counts. I think the best actual handcuff is Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard really has no role week to week. He comes in as a backup, but that's it. He's not part of the offense. He's the backup plan. So I would say he's the best handcuff.
Yeah. I was just asking because I was thinking about Chuba Hubbard being handcuffed to CMC, and you have. But we saw what Mike Davis did with it. But Mike Davis is
like Chuba Hubbard that much. They're not putting in a waiver claim on Royce Freeman.
Yeah,
Royce Freeman is nothing. But like CMC is a workhorse. They should be comfortable with Chuba as his only backup. And if they're not, that's not a good sign.
Yeah,
that's a sign that they're not completely comfortable with Chuba. So I'm not so much in on Chuba as I was when they only kept him and McCaffrey. I was more in, but now I'm a little bit more out. But yeah, Tony Pollard for me, clearly the best handcuff.
I think it'd be for me too. I was thinking about like the whole Denver situation or like Tampa Bay. Like you might have like 1A, 1B.
I don't count those.
Yeah,
though,
I don't count them
Jones
either.
and Fournette are in a 50-50 committee.
Yeah,
and Javonte and Gordon are going to be in a committee. I don't think those are handcuffs.
Yeah,
I think they have legitimate roles. Okay. Everyone projecting Dak is perfectly healthy. He is perfectly healthy. He's going to be 100% for week 1. So he is perfectly healthy. So I'm going to project him as perfectly healthy because he is. I mean, if we go to week 1 and he's not healthy, then I'll have to change that. But as of now, he's healthy. So they said he's 100%. So I'm going to go with that he's 100%. From E. Wessel. Oh, Kevin also wishes everyone well. We wish you well too. We are doing well. You're doing well, right? I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's
I hate to have to go to class tomorrow, but I'm doing pretty well.
Class for what?
I'm in my last semester of college.
Really?
Yeah, at A&M.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
A&M?
Yeah, Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah. I was like, that's what I thought you said. Nice. Oh, wow. You're still in college. I didn't know
I'm
that.
only 23.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay. It's rare. I started inviting younger guests. Both you and Ryan are younger than me. Okay. E. Wessel, tell me Roundtree or Khalil Herbert are worth the stash in 23 player roster. What do you think?
Roundtree looked good in the preseason until their last preseason game. He didn't look too exciting to me, but I think I'd rather stash him over Herbert.
Really? Oh, I disagree.
Really?
I'd rather have Herbert with Cohen on the pup.
Yeah,
I think Herbert has more of an opportunity.
Okay.
Also, the Chargers kept all of their backups. They kept Kelly. They kept. Oh, sorry. There actually is no player on the Chargers. I totally forgot. There's no player on the Chargers named Joshua Kelly. They only have Joshua Fumble. They have Joshua Fumble. They have Justin always injured. They have that. They have those two. And they have Larry Roundtree, the worst running back profile of all time. Cal is not here to tell me that Larry Roundtree sucks, which he does every time he comes up. I like Larry Roundtree as a stash, but I would rather have Herbert with Cohen on the pup. He's actually going to get playing time.
I haven't seen much of Herbert. I need to do more work into Herbert.
I've done some work on that actually, so that's why I like him.
Yeah.
Roundtree, I would have liked more if they'd gotten rid of Kelly or Jackson, but the fact that they kept all of them is not good. That means they don't like Roundtree that much. They could have just cut Roundtree though. At least he made the team.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this question is way beyond my pay grade from Adam. Why do tight ends take so long to develop, and do you expect that to change similarly to how we're seeing wide receivers develop faster? I think that's a question that's like beyond me, right? Like, why do they take so long to develop? It's because I can give you the best answer I can give you, which is that the adjustment period to the tight end position is difficult to the NFL. It's difficult to learn.
Tight ends are underutilized in college.
That's also true. That's a good point. Tight ends are often underutilized in college. They don't get a lot of, especially receiving.
Yes.
Tight ends in college are often used as blockers. I guess so. The transition is difficult. I think also an NFL tight end plays very differently from a college tight end. But again, why do they take so long to develop? That's probably a question more for an NFL analyst than for us. Do I expect it to change? I don't, because as far as I know, the usage of tight ends in college is not changing. Whereas the usage of wide receivers in college has become more similar to the pro game. I think that's why wide receivers are developing faster, because the transition is easier. So no, I actually do not expect tight ends to start developing faster. And I think that's going to kind of continue to take a long time. So I'm not expecting that to change. Okay. He's talking about Royce. Didn't Carolina just get someone back up CMC? It's not Chuba. No, I mean, Royce is their third string. If CMC gets injured, it'll be a committee between Chuba and Royce, with Chuba leading. But the fact that they needed to sign Royce at all is not a good sign. Okay, from PJ, who's the running back you guys like on the Jets? Who do you like on the Jets?
It was Michael Carter, and now I think Michael Carter wins the job at the end of the year. But for the start of the year, I enjoyed Ty Johnson.
You enjoy him. Yeah, I also like Ty Johnson.
Yeah, he looks like he's running hard. He looks good with that offense. Zach Wilson seems to like dumping it off to him a little bit. So, but it's the whole. Everybody got hyped up on Michael Carter, but it was only a 4th round price tag on Michael Carter. So.
I know, which is not a lot. But what do you think about Tevin Coleman? What do you think of him?
I can't stand him.
You can't stand him.
Like,
And why is that?
He's just always around.
Why don't you like him? What don't you like about him?
He's a tackle away from being injured for a really long.
A tackle away from being injured. So did his 28 carries for 53 yards in 2020 do anything for you? Did you enjoy those? 8 games, by the way, 8 games that he missed.
I haven't drafted Tevin Coleman in years.
So yeah, did you enjoy 1.9 yards per carry? Was that? Did you enjoy watching Tevin Coleman take those carries?
No.
No, I don't think so. How about in 2019? 2019, he was just wonderful, right? So great. 3 49ers running backs, they all took carries in 2019. He took 137. He turned those into a measly 554 yards, 4.0 yards per carry. Not great. In contrast, Raheem Mostert, the same 137 carries, but he turned those into 772 yards for 5.6 yards a clip. So, and then Matt Breida, and we all know Matt Breida is, I mean, we've seen the last 2 years, Matt Breida is a jag. Matt Breida, 123 carries for 623 yards, so much better. Tevin Coleman offered nothing at all, nothing on his receptions, nothing on the ground. And somehow he went to San Francisco. He went to San Francisco, who has the best fullback in the league, the best running offense in the league, the best running scheme in the league, and he managed to fail. He managed to fail there. What an accomplishment. So now he's going to come to the Jets and succeed. I don't think so. So that's Tevin Coleman is just a no for me. That one I don't like. Somehow, I can't even. I mean, somehow he's managed the last 3 years to average less than 10 yards of reception every single year. And I mean, it's awful. Like 6.3 yards a target, 6 yards a target, 6.8 yards a target. It's terrible. Everything he's done has been bad. So yeah, I know. Tevin Coleman, I'm good. I'm good on him. He's never had more than 11 carries a game in his entire career. So,
that's crazy.
Not him. It is crazy, right? You would think he would have done something, but no, he's actually never done anything. Ty Johnson, though, I like that one. Ty Johnson, I like him. But, I mean, Ty Johnson is like a total failure. I mean, he washed out of Detroit, and now he landed on the Jets somehow, and now he's just here.
I don't think we're going to like any running back from the Jets when it comes to
one thing I know it's one person I know it's not going to be LaMichael Pirine.
Oh, okay. Forgot about him. Forgot he was even there.
Yeah, he's apparently still there. They don't really like him. Valid point about the Dak. Yes. He is healthy now, so I agree. I agree with myself. Khalil Herbert, greater than Roundtree as prospect profiles, most certainly. I mean, Roundtree's prospect profile is absolute trash. If Roundtree does not come out week 1 and take the compliment to Eckler role, Roundtree's going to lose most of his dynasty value. He needs to do it immediately. Otherwise, I'm going to give up on him very fast. So, yeah, I'm much higher on Herbert as a prospect than Roundtree. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Tight ends take time because they have to learn routes and blocking schemes. I actually think it's the routes that are the problem. They don't catch a lot. And I mean, how many tight ends come into the league with a lot of receiving production? I actually think it's the routes. And I also think another problem is the check and release concept. The check and release concept is a problem because that's done very differently in the NFL. Because in college, the tight end, if you're an NFL prospect, you can just, blocking you and it'll probably go to the ground. In the NFL, you're going to be dealing with defensive end who's playing professionally. So that, like a little chip, it's just not going to cut it. Right? I mean, that's just not going to work. If you have, the defensive end lined up against you, you're not going to be able to do it that way. So you're going to have to focus more on the blocking element in that. So there's a lot of different elements that are going to be an issue. So yeah, PJ. No, E. Wessel says, any chance Croft could have a Logan Thomas opportunity share? No. Tyler Croft sucks. Let's open the book on Tyler Croft because Tyler Croft is just not good. Tyler Croft in his illustrious 6-year career. 6 years. Isn't this great to know that Tyler Croft has been in the NFL for 6 years?
He looks young.
Yeah, he's actually 28.
I guess it's a no facial hair thing for me. He looks really young. He looks like he shouldn't be in the NFL, honestly.
Yeah. So in 5 of his 6 years, he's had less than 20 targets. How does that sound? Is that a player we want?
Or like Kevin Coleman?
Yeah, so not a player we want. He did have one decent year, though, where he caught 42 receptions for 404 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Was that with Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was Cincinnati 2017. I mean,
it was a little bit of a thing that year, but that was 2017.
Yeah, I mean, it's on par with Jonnu Smith's best ever season. Actually, it actually kind of is. But Jonnu Smith, but don't look at Jonnu Smith's production. Just don't look at it. Just look at the athleticism and pretend it's going to happen. But don't look at the production. It's not good. But yeah, last year in Buffalo, 12 catches. Dawson Knox missed like the whole season with COVID, and there were a lot of other things. 12 receptions for 119 yards.
You know who I was really surprised Buffalo let go?
Who?
Jacob Hollister. Yeah.
He appeared on the Jags. That could be interesting. They don't have a tight end there.
I know. I saw that.
I'm more interested in Jacob Hollister in some ways. Tyler Kroft. I mean, Tyler Kroft is clearly the Jets starting tight end, but I think the Jets. I mean, the Jets have so many receivers. They have Davis. They drafted Moore. They still have Crowder. They signed Cole in free agency, and they still have what's his name? Denzel Failure. Failure. They have Denzel Minimal. Denzel Minimal is what they have. 6th stringer Denzel Minimal.
That's crazy right there.
You like Denzel Minimal? I don't know. That's on the chat. The chat. You guys in the chat came up with Denzel Minimal. Yeah, that's what he is. Denzel Minimal. But they're going to have a wide receiver focused offense. They have to.
I traded Mims and Dynasty straight up for Philip Lindsay.
Oh, I would do that in an instant. I've always said that Mims is going to be in another line of employment in the near future because I don't think this one is not going to work out for him.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because he ate that bad salmon. He ate the bad salmon, and ever since he's never been the same. But I don't know what it is, but he's just not been the same. Okay. Tevin Coleman is dust from PJ. Yes, if the 28 carries for 53 yards didn't do it for you, if you had watched even 1 minute of Tevin Coleman over the last 2 years, you would not have wanted to watch any more minutes because it was really bad. It was really bad. It was like Benny Snell levels of bad. That bad. So never again. Signing off from Adam. Great job. Appreciate you. Thank you, Adam. Adam really is someone who's like been there for me since the beginning. So I always appreciate when people, support me and stick around and continue to support me. Yeah. You'd rather have Everett or Cook than Kroft, right? I mean, right?
Oh yeah. Everett's one of my favorite tight ends.
Everett. I'm not a big Everett. I'm like middle on Everett. Yeah. Cook's
just touchdowns to me.
We've heard like nothing about Cook, right? Nothing. You heard anything about Cook? Any news? Any hype? Not anything? Because I've heard nothing.
Me neither.
I think that Donald Parham is going to have more of a role than we think, but not that Donald Parham is going to be fantasy relevant. Yeah. I just think that if Donald Parham takes 3 touchdowns from Cook is a waste of time.
I mean, Cook they have 2 like just monstrous tight ends in height category there in LA.
But also, like, they don't have like a special wide receiver 3. They have Jalen Guyton, who's whatever.
Josh Palmer. I like me some
Josh Palmer, but that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Like, they could run, but like, Cook is not a good blocker, and Parham is not at all. So, really, right? I mean, he's like a size matchup freak kind of player. So, if you're using Parham to block, that doesn't sound like a good idea. So, maybe they're gonna run some 12, but I don't think so.
We hear all this stuff about like the Bengals. You're just gonna throw the ball a lot. I feel like out in LA they're gonna throw a lot because
they don't have a running back who runs the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, the choice is pass the ball, or we're gonna give 200 carries to Joshua Fumble. So do we want to do that? Probably not. Or Larry, worst running back profile ever. We could give him some carries. So we don't want to do that. What? Kevin says, thoughts on Jalen Camp in Houston? I did not know that Jalen Camp signed with Houston. I removed Jalen Camp from my dynasty rankings when the Jaguars cut him. Because if you can't make the team over Tavon Austin, we have a problem. we have a problem. If you can't make the team over Tavon Austin, I just don't think you're going to be for me.
I can't believe the Jags cut Colin Johnson.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that they did that. The Giants signed him, though. I'm kind of happy about that. But the fact that they got rid of Colin Johnson and kept Tavon Austin, Urban Meyer is really making some interesting.
Tavon Austin a return for them, I guess.
But they only kept like 5 wide receivers.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't think Meyer's going to be there long.
Meyer is just a disaster. But he did say one good thing. That he cut some people due to not getting the vaccine. That's the one good thing Urban Meyer said. And then that's what he's getting punished for. He's getting punished for that. The one thing he did correctly. But then he opened his mouth and said what you're not supposed to say. Because Urban Meyer does not, and that's another example of this, is he does not understand that this is not a college campus. Like you cannot have a quarterback competition and then trade the other guy to the other team for a 6th round pick. What was the point of the competition? That's stupid. Yeah. Like he just doesn't understand that this is not a college campus. You have to treat this like a professional system, and he just is not quite doing that. So we have a problem with Urban Meyer. Oh. What are your thoughts on Jacob Harris on the Rams? Oh, well, I mean, I think Jacob Harris is a league winner. So is that good enough? Is that good enough?
Yeah, I like Jacob Harris.
Tyler Higbee is just straight trash. Tyler Higbee's just a guy, right? I mean, Tyler Higbee.
I cringe when people draft Tyler Higbee, but I have drafted Tyler Higbee this year as well. Just because I do it. Like he was one of the last tight ends, like Everett wasn't there or whatever. People were taking 2 tight ends before me, so I was just like, maybe Higbee can have 806.
Last year, Tyler Higbee, he played 15 games, 60 targets in 15 games. Jacob Harris is just so much better. Jacob Harris is athletic. He dominated camp. They picked him in the 4th. That's just ironically exactly where they picked Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is a jag. If they really like Tyler Higbee, why are they picking more tight ends? They picked Bryson Hopkins in the 4th round last year, and now another tight end. They like Tyler Higbee so much, and they wanted to make him a workhorse tight end. They have Johnny Munt as a blocker. They have other tight ends on the team. They had Hopkins, so they picked another tight end. I just think that this is showing that Jacob Harris, I mean, he's going to be a problem. You saw him on the field in the preseason or whatever in camp. He's going to be a problem. How are you going to guard him? When you have to have Woods and Kupp, I think he's going to be a problem. So, yes, I'm all in on Jacob Harris. And McVay loves him, which is true. That's what we've heard. PJ, am I crazy for thinking Jacoby Myers is going to be a league winner at ADP? Yeah. How's Jacoby Myers going to win you your league? What's he going to win for you?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a value is what I'd call him over the league winner.
I think Jacoby Myers' ceiling is wide receiver 27. This is not a league winner. I think he could hit it. I mean, if you told me he finishes a wide receiver 3, I wouldn't be surprised, but that's not a league winner. Like, for him to be a league winner, he'd have to finish in wide receiver 2 range. And they paid Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry to be their passing offense. And they paid Nelson Aguilar big money, who I don't like, but I think he's going to be involved. I just think that Jacoby Myers' ceiling, like I said, is wide receiver 27, 28. So
does Myers turn into like an Edelman guy for you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it on that level. No, for me, no. I don't see it.
Okay.
They're going to also add another receiver next year. I mean, you cannot have a team like this. This just doesn't work. I mean, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers, in addition to 2 tight ends, doesn't work for me. Yeah. So absolutely not. Phalos Harris tight. No, the Cowboys have the first. The Cowboys will. The Cowboys will have a real tight end by committee. The people should have seen on the original depth chart before the preseason started. They had Jarwin listed first as their starter. It's changed. For some reason, it was changed. Now they have Schultz listed as their starter. So I would sell Jarwin. He's the one who has all the value for no reason. Dalton Schultz is younger. He has more production in his career. He's not coming off a devastating injury. I'd almost rather have Schultz. So I don't understand why Jarwin is going 60 picks earlier in ADP. So Jarwin can go. I don't want him. Schultz, I'll take as a flyer. But for the same reason, I don't want Higbee. Just take Harris. From David, Draft Tuesday, 8-team, 2-quarterback league, 5 points for passing touchdown with huge bonus for big plays. This elevates certain players. What do you think?
It raises Tyreek Hill for me.
Well, it depends on what the big play bonus is for. Is it only for passing or is it for everything?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If it's for...
I mean, Mahomes will be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes throws a lot of deep passes. I wouldn't...
It doesn't... If the bonuses happen for every player, like your running backs and your receivers and your tight ends, then it might slightly... If I was trying to decide...
But like a lot of players can have big plays. I would fade certain players who just never have them. Like, who's a good example? Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen might drop a little bit for me in this format. He's just not going to have that kind of big play that I want. Whereas
I'd up to like DK and your Hills if you get 4 points for
DK
touchdown. We have that in my home league, and it affects a lot.
But like someone like Justin Jefferson can get big plays or not, and it's mostly luck. Oh, like I don't know if Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, or Terry McLaurin. Like which one of those is best at getting big plays? I just think it's random. I don't think there's one of those is better than the others.
Yeah,
I think they all could, but they all might not. Big plays are kind of random.
Would it elevate Waller closer to Kelsey?
No.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I'm a Waller truther.
I'm not. I'm not and never have been. I've been out on Waller the whole time.
I don't love Waller's price this year, but the past 2 years.
I have no Waller. None. Because I have drafted Kill ahead, so that means I have no Waller. I've never drafted Waller in redraft, and I have no Waller in Dynasty either because I don't like his price. So I just have 0. So he's someone who could burn me. He's one of those players who could burn me really badly.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it in Dynasty at his age. And yeah, that's that. And then we will make this question from Todd our last one. We didn't get to any of the questions I put in advance, which is great because that means people in the chat came and gave us questions, even on an impromptu show they didn't know it was coming. So we didn't get to any of the in advance questions. That's fine. We'll roll them over. They were from the old mailbag anyway, so we weren't even going to get to those. Those were just a bonus. From Todd, last one. I think this is a good one to end on. How many NFL games do you normally watch per week? How many do you watch?
So I watch Thursday night, and then Sunday have NFL Sunday Ticket Red Zone from 12
I love it.
Whenever it ends, and
Red Zone,
Sunday night, Monday night, and then I'll spend that Tuesday, Wednesday period looking at waivers and also looking back over like just stats, like your underlying stats for teams.
Well, that we do, but like in terms of games, the only
like
thing
full games.
Well, that's what I think Todd's asking. Yeah, like what's like you're watching? Like, I think for me, I'm pretty consistent on Red Zone. I watch most of it. I watch most of Red Zone.
I watch all 7 hours every Sunday on Red Zone.
I mean, sometimes I like get a little stir crazy because I do content on Sunday morning. So I've sat inside all Sunday morning, and then I'm going to sit inside all 7 hours. So like sometimes I like go out and like get some fresh air at some point in there, but like I watch a majority of that. And then oftentimes I'll skip the Sunday night game. Actually, I'll watch a little bit of it sometimes, but sometimes I just don't want to watch any more football. I just watch 7 hours and I did content in the morning. So sometimes I skip that one. I watch Thursday night and Monday night much more than Sunday night. Sunday night, I've definitely skipped.
I like Sunday night's announcers a lot. That's why.
Yeah, usually when it's a single game, I don't even have the sound on. Yeah. I'm not interested in the announcers. The only thing I like the sound on is for Red Zone. But sometimes I just like, for me, I'm a big football fan, but like as an analyst, it's at this point, it's like, it's my job. So like sometimes I'll peace out on the Sunday night game and just kind of take a little bit of a mental break. Because I did content in the morning, then watched 7 hours of Red Zone and kind of tweeted about it all day. I just like, I start to feel like a little sick of football, and I need like, I just mentally, I just can't watch another game. So I just go to bed and like relax. And then I'll come back on. I almost always watch Monday night. Yeah. I watch Monday night, but that's more of like a social life thing. I'm more likely to have plans on Thursday night than Monday night.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I watch more Monday night than Thursday night. But I like it because it's like football on another day. I like that because I get like extra days of having football.
Yeah, we have a bar here in Bryan that does Monday Night Football bingo. Ooh. So like they have the game on, and whatever happens, he'll call out what's on the little thing, and you get prizes.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of friends who are that into football, but you know, it is what it is. I still like to watch the games. I think I watched a lot more last year because of the pandemic and COVID. There really was nothing else to do. Typically, like I would have plans on a Thursday night. Like Monday night, sometimes not. But typically, like it's rare that in the past that I was ever around for the Thursday night game. But we will see how it goes this year. I'd still a little bit, you know, there's still COVID, but you know, it's not like what it was last year. Last year, everything was just closed. So it was a lot of sitting at home and watching TV. So yeah, Kevin says, have a good day. Thanks. And PJ is peacing out, which we will also do. So that's the end of our show. I put all the links. They're all in there. I put them in all the chats. So, you know, my Patreon, my articles, you know where to find that. Everything's at dynastyleaguefootball.com for the articles. Patreon is Patreon/fantasy advice. Somehow I got that. I'm at DLF_carp. It's somewhere on the screen. I don't know why we can't see it, but it is what it is. And then I think that's all of my stuff. Oh, follow the Twitter account at DLF_ask. That's where you get in your questions now for every week. If you want your questions read on the Tuesday show, you got to put them there. I think that's it. So yeah, tell the people one more time. Tell the people everything.
Z2 Fantasy on Twitter. Do graphics for Real Deal. Real Deal Fantasy, Triple Play, Rum Boys. If you want to check those out. Wallpaper Wednesdays every Wednesday. So I usually ask for suggestions on players to do those. Triple Power Pod on Monday. Download the Sports Me app. And that's about it. All
right. Well, thank you for coming on. I hope the people had a good time. And we will see you all on Tuesday for the first Ask DLF of, I guess, the regular season. So I'm excited for that. And I will see you then.